I didn't just manifest my husband, I remembered who he was. And as soon as I wrote down who he was and the traits that he had, he appeared into my life. And today I'm going to be explaining exactly what I did because this isn't just a manifestation hack. This was about me becoming the woman who could receive the love that she desired. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. Lately, we've been talking about feminine energy, we've been talking about relationships, we've been talking about nervous system regulation, and we've been doing a lot of content about releasing 2025 and going into 2026. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. And as always, make sure to give this video a like because it helps us get it in front of more people. And if I have any resources for those of you who want to go deeper into the content that I'm going to be talking about today, I will make mention of them throughout. There's two places where you can get started. The first place you can get started is 100% free, and that is by downloading our Enhance Your Feminine Energy guide. All you need to do is input your name and email, and our guide will be sent directly to you, and you will also get access to our student portal where you can access the guide as well. And in that guide, it walks you through how to enhance your feminine energy in the next week or so you can make money with more ease, so you can attract love with more ease, so you can heal your body. So many cool things that starts to happen when a woman really starts to embrace her feminine energy. The second place where you can go, and I'm very excited to mention this, is our Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle, which you can currently get at an early bird price. We just opened the doors for the first time. So it is at early bird pricing for the next week. And in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle, I go through the 13 initiations a woman must go through in order to go from surviving to thriving, in order to go from constantly pushing and hustling to becoming magnetic. And this is based on my experience and my transformation, where I went from a hyper independent, perpetually single, hustling my brains out, whole bunch of thyroid problems for like 10-15 years, to within a couple of years manifesting my husband, moving overseas to another country, and now having businesses that bring in money passively every single day. So if that's something that you're interested in, I invite you to join us in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Portal. The information will be below. So let's get into it. Let's go into how I remembered my husband, right? What does that even mean? So the truth is that in order for us to manifest the love that we desire, or money or health or whatever you want, but we're going to talk about love here, is that you have to get your nervous system on board with what it is that you are trying to create in your life. And most women do not attract the man that they want because their nervous system isn't actually calibrated to hold the love that they are calling in. I oftentimes say that women have to learn to be attracted to what is good to them and for them. And a lot of women are attracted to what is quote unquote bad for them or dramatic because that's what their nervous system thinks is familiar. And your brain is not meant to keep you happy, it's just meant to keep you safe. So when I finally started to regulate my body out of survival mode after losing everything, having a breakdown, going through a spiritual awakening, if you've been here a while, you've heard my story already, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But once I finally started understanding how to get out of survival mode and how to regulate my nervous system, then I was able to create my man list, yes, the list, from a place of regulation and from a place of being ready to receive it. And the list appeared almost instantly. Almost instantly. Now you might want to ask yourself, okay, well, like what was actually on this list, right? Well, it wasn't superficial traits like he's got to be 6'2" and have blue eyes and all that kind of stuff, but it was more about how I wanted to feel in partnership. And I wanted to feel safety, devotion, and polarity. I wanted a man who leads with presence and integrity. And the reality is that as hokey as it sounds, it works. But the list is only going to work when it's done from a place of feminine energy. Because it's not about scripting a person per se. It's about calibrating your nervous system to a new level of love. Because you are going to attract whatever your body feels safe to hold. The list is a mirror, not a menu. And a lot of women will go on dates with the list as if it's a menu. And if he doesn't match every single little thing on the menu, then she's throwing this guy out, even though he would have given her the entire world. So, the first initiation that I went through in order to finally understand this was releasing the fantasy masculine. So, I had to let go of men who activated my wounds instead of my worth. I had to learn how to be attracted to what was good to me and for me, as I said. I stopped entertaining crumbs, chaos, and potential, and instead I started to choose truth over chemistry. A lot of people will go into relationships on chemistry, emotions, and at the worst of it, trauma bonding because you're triggering each other's wounds. And this is why I say there's almost like two different dating pools going on right now. There's like unhealthy people and they're all dating each other, and then there's healthy people out here, and then there's some healthy people trying to figure out where the healthy people are. But in order for you to get to the healthy dating pool, you must become healthy yourself. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. And I cover how to transform this in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle. There's 13 initiations in total that you have to go through in order to get to a space as a woman where now you can start attracting a healthy mate or start attracting more prosperity. I mean, my entire life turned around. Every area of my life turned around when I went through those 13 initiations that I now have for you in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle. The second initiation was that I had to regulate for real love. So my system was actually wired for stress and not ease. In every freaking area of my life, by the way, and this has been my lifelong lesson, I realize, is learning how to regulate for ease. I was hyper independent. I was over functioning. I was taking on the masculine role in relationships. I was like CEO of a business, and I've learned that I actually hate CEOing. I hate it. My husband is so much better at it than I am. I could do like marketing director, right? But like CEO, please, for the love of God, I don't want to do it. Or what's another thing I'm good at? Being talent. Like I'm good at that, but the CEOing, I can't stand it. And I put myself in a situation where I had to be a CEO of a business, and it was doing well, but oh my God, did I hate that role, because it was just so against, not that it was against my feminine essence, but the way in which it was taught to me and the way in which it was created was against my feminine essence, because there are feminine CEOs out here. So I don't want to say that if you're feminine you can't be a CEO. I'm just saying in my case it was so over masculinized, the way that it had been taught to me and the way that I had built it and created it, which I understand was a part of my process, that it was just working against my nature. So then it was like, okay, well then no wonder you have to push for money, and no wonder you feel like you have to do all the things, and no wonder you don't hire the appropriate support because you feel like everything has to be on you. And no wonder you've had thyroid problems for 10 years. Like all of a sudden, all of this stuff was like, well, yeah, duh. Duh, looking back on it. So I had to learn to soften my nervous system in order to receive a man who actually showed up, because I was used to men who did not show up. And when you regulate your nervous system, you regulate your reality. And the thing is that mystics and always knew this, mystics, philosophy, like we've always known this, and now science is just catching up to explain to us what is going on from a physiological perspective. And in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle, I go into the physiology of manifestation. So make sure to sign up because it's at early bird pricing as we speak. So here's the third initiation, and I'm going to go through 4, right? So here's the third one: embodying feminine receptivity. I had to allow myself to be led, which in full transparency, I'm still practicing this, right? I feel like it's such a tough one for those of us who were hyper independent for a long time. So calling myself out on that, but I had to allow myself to be led. The biggest example I can think of was when my husband was like, hey, go get your Mexican residency. This was before we were even married. And he wanted to make sure that I had Mexican residency and that I had a plan B and I had backup plans, because he didn't like the way things were going in the United States, right? And I followed my husband's leadership on that, because he's like, it's only going to get more difficult. It's only going to get more challenging. Get it now. And he set up everything for me to be able to go get my residency. And you know what? He was right, because it's only gotten more difficult and more challenging to be able to do those kinds of things. That's the best example I can think of in terms of following my husband's leadership, among other things, but obviously that's a huge one. And then also allowing myself to be cared for. My husband takes such good care of me. He really does. And I am grateful for it every single day. Letting go of the urge to control outcomes was huge. I first did this with my husband. With money and business, it took longer in order for me to understand how to do that. It's like money, career was like the final frontier of all of this for me. But once I understood it in relationships and I let go of control, boom, there came my husband. And we were, committed. In addition to that, once I finally understood it, that's when polarity, that's when feminine energy, that's when all this stuff that people talk about online became real for me. It wasn't just a theory, it was now who I actually was and who I was actually embodying. Because the feminine does not force, she simply remembers who she is. I tell women this all the time. You don't have to learn how to do this. You have to remember how to do this. Because when you were a baby and when you were a little girl before the world got to you, you knew how to do all of this. And the fourth and final initiation that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video today is the energetic self-worth. So, would I let a man love me this deeply? Is a question that I had to ask myself, and is a question that many of you have to ask yourselves. Even if you're married, you probably still have to ask yourself that question. Because those of you who are in marriages where you feel like the dynamics are off, well, maybe it's because you're not allowing yourself to be loved so deeply by a man because you feel like you need to have control in order to feel safe. And what I had to learn how to do was learn how to stay open instead of shutting down or running away or freezing. I had to start learning how to let my softness be seen, and I had to start letting love land without actually sabotaging it, which all goes down to, again, regulating your nervous system, which I cover how to do that in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle. So the moment that my husband appeared and I met him, there was no drama. It wasn't chaotic. There was no chasing or any of this stuff. There was no ambiguity is the word I'm looking for. It was just aligned. It was easy. It was calm. It was grounded energy. He matched what I had written, and I finally matched it energetically myself. So I wrote down what I wanted, and then I energetically became the woman who could attract that. My list didn't pull my husband in. It wasn't the list. It was me. It was my embodiment of becoming the woman who could pull a man like that in. Now, here's why this matters for anyone who is listening. You're not actually trying to manifest him. I know a lot of you will come to this YouTube channel. I have a popular YouTube video, how I manifested my husband in 4 months, and a lot of you will find that video and be like, thank you so much, this gives me hope. You're not actually trying to manifest him. You're just remembering you, and you're remembering your essence and your feminine energy. Because real love is going to arrive when your body feels safe, open, and worthy of actually receiving it. That is the secret. The list is just for clarity. The list is just for, here are my values, here are the correct characteristics, and here are my preferences. That's literally it. It's your energy that is actually the invitation for the masculine man to show up. So if you are in a season of calling in deeper love or rebuilding your feminine capacity to receive, then the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle is the container where you are going to learn how to do that. I created this container. It's like literally walking through a portal that walks you through the 13 initiations you must go through to go from surviving, over functioning, chasing what money, love, whatever it is that you're trying to get, you're still in that state of chasing, to becoming the woman that could magnetically attract everything that she desires. Because when she reworks her nervous system, she will rework her entire reality. So the early bird pricing ends on the 18th. You can get in now at the early bird price because it's the first time we've ever opened the doors for this. After the 18th, it's going to go up in price. So if you're looking for a deal, now is your time to get in. And if you feel the pull, just trust your intuition and join us because you have absolutely nothing to lose. This is the path where love or money or health or whatever it is that you are trying to create as a magnetic woman starts to find you, so you don't have to chase it. And you'll find all the information on how to join us below and also in the first comment. I cannot wait to see who joins us in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Bundle. So many of you already have, and we're getting really great feedback. And it's amazing to see how women are finally having these massive aha moments especially after having spent many years on YouTube trying to understand feminine energy and it not landing, and then them coming to this work and being like, oh, it finally makes sense. That's the number one feedback that we've been getting from everyone, and you can have that kind of reaction too when you cross the portal and join us in the Magnetic Woman Transformation Program. Once again, thank you so much for giving me your time today. Happy holidays. I'm going to keep saying that, and I will catch you on the next one.